G'day, it's Pete here. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about the recent cheating scandal that's been all over the internet, if you know where to look in bridge sites. Now what I'm talking about is the Fisher-Schwartz cheating scandal. So I'll sort of run you through a bit of a history of it, talk about how it started and go from there. But before I get anywhere, I just want you to make clear that Lotan Fisher and Ron Schwartz haven't actually been convicted of anything at this stage. It's only accusations. But hopefully I'll keep you posted if there's any more updates and if anything changes. So I'll just sort of run you through a bit of what's been happening. So about 2 weeks ago, a prominent bridge player named Boje Brogland from Norway put this post up on Bridge Winners website, and it was that the 2014 Spin Gold Champs, which is an American competition, offered to vacate their titles. Now, what this was Boje Brogland was on a team with Lotan Fisher and Ron Schwartz in 2014. So last year, not this year, and they managed to win quite a few events in 2014, including the 2014 Spin Gold, the Risinger, and the Jacoby Swiss pairs. These are all, and the Swiss pairs was in 2015. Now these were all just American events, and the team at the time was comprised of Boje Brogland, Alan Graves, Espen Lindquist, and Richie Schwartz. Now, there are two Schwartzes on this team, they're completely unrelated. And the other pair was Lotan Fisher and Ron Schwartz. Now, they're the pair that have been accused of cheating. Now, what happened on the 24th of August, which was 2 weeks ago now, Boje posted something on Bridge Winners that says, "If you have a cheating pair on your team, I believe you should lose whatever master points, seeding points, and titles you have won together. The Schwartz team from 2 previous cycles, the team I mentioned, have decided to give back those trophies." Now, this set the bridge scene alight. Everyone was curious about what was actually happening. And it took a few days before anything grew, but there was a lot of comments back and forth. Now, on the Bridge Winners site, you can see it got up to 872 comments just on this one page. And this was just saying that he wanted to hand back these trophies and that he thought it was a bit suspicious of them. So nothing really happened for a few days after that. Basically, it was until the 29th that Boje Brogland launched a new website called bridgecheaters.com. Now, for those that don't know, this is Boje on the right here, and this is one of the accused, Lotan Fisher, on the left. So Boje set up bridgecheaters.com. He set up a whole dedicated website where he posts boards played by the two and other details and tells his story. So I'll just show you a bit about the website. So this isn't his website, this is New in Bridge, which is another news sort of website which you can see some stuff and go find some more. Anyway, Boje, who's a Norwegian, set up this website called bridgecheaters.com. Now, this is a picture of Lotan and Ron Schwartz, and down the bottom of this, Boje sort of gives an account of a bit of his, some of his story, sort of talks about himself and how he got onto a team with Lotan and Ron and things like that, and talks about the events that they won. Now, after they won all that stuff, Lotan and Ron sort of separated from that team and found another professional team that they're playing on, which is the Team Kane. Now, the reason lots of all this came about, which is partly mentioned in here, is that in the 2015 Spin Gold, Lotan and Ron here played on the Team Kane, which beat Boje's team in a pretty controversial match. Not not completely full of cheating, but a nice tight match. It had an appeal and lots of other things that came up. And it was a really tight match. And after this, I basically think there was lots of adrenaline, and Boyer sort of went through and looked over the boards and became more and more suspicious of this pair after he looked over board after board after board. So there's a few matches that get recorded that I'll talk about, but the one that sort of sparked this was that Team Kane versus Team Schwartz in the Spin Gold quarterfinal, maybe semi-final, can't quite remember, which in the initial thing happened was that Team Schwartz, this is Boyer's team, won it by 1 imp. Then there was an appeal which got put to Team Kane winning by 1 imp. And then Boyer found a scoring error, which meant that it was actually a draw, I believe, but that was too late afterwards. And on this site, he talks a bit about details about that and goes through, and you can read all that in your own leisure. And that's sort of bridgecheaters.com. It's got more on here, so it's got some stuff like his story, which I was just briefly talking about. It's got some of the hands that they've posted, and he puts through and talks why he thinks sort of strange things are happening and whatnot. He's also got a bit about the history of Fisher and Schwartz, and it's got some of their cheating history. And basically what it's talking about here is it looks like Fisher and Schwartz have had a bit of a dodgy history over a while, and there's below on this website there's a summary of cases that the Israeli Bridge Federation had versus Fisher and Schwartz over the years, and there's sort of several different things that come up over here. They're all basically pretty minor, but some of them not so minor, and I think Lotan got barred for a year. So upon hearing all the facts, that his intent to cheat was clear, and they convicted Lotan Fisher of cheating and refusing to comply with the tournament director, and was sentenced for a 2-year suspension. But basically he was put on probation as well as other things. Now, it sort of detailed all of this stuff. Now, that was going back to 2005, so this was a long time ago that this sort of stuff's happening. Back when sort of Lotan was quite young and just in his teenage years. But there's sort of a history here of some things happening, and that's sort of all up there on the bridgecheaters.com. Then he's also got stuff from another prominent bridge player, Thomas Bessie, which is a top French player who back in 2012 posted some stuff thinking that these guys might be a little bit dodgy, and you can find that all under cheating history, and there's sort of a whole list of stuff there. He also posted some videos of bridge, so he found a lot of details of different things and started to put it up there. And there's some videos of the bridge here, which I'll just show you a brief bit. So this is of Lotan here and Ron here. Now basically this is just part of a 2014 match where they're playing, Israel's playing against Netherlands. And they're just bidding a hand, and they're getting to reach 6 diamonds, a slam in diamonds. And basically, the only real problem on the hand was that Ron, so this guy here, had king third. He had a trump suit of ace queen 10 9 8 opposite king third. So he can basically play anyone to for the jack, but the normal way of playing this suit is sort of playing the ace of diamonds playing low to the king, and then if someone's got 4 diamonds, hopefully you can finesse it. Anyway, basically what you can see here is they start playing the hand, and he's trying to show that Boy is trying to highlight that some strange things might be happening. Now this is just one hand, but as you can see, so they start playing the hand, and he has to try and find the trump. So let's see if we can go back. I might have missed part of it. So at some stage, Lotan leaned over and looked over at this guy's hand. Now, the guy was willing to show him the hand, but it's not like, it's an uncommon thing that sort of happens. And afterwards, Ron manages to pick that the trumps were going. So basically what they were trying to highlight in this hand is that he managed to guess the diamond layout, and that they were conveying some information. So I think what they were trying to highlight was that they looked at the hand and that they were giving some sort of signal, because it was quite an odd board. Anyway, there's more than that. There's other videos through here, which is posted on here, and that's not the only spot that's got some videos. Anyway, that was bridgecheaters.com, and this was put up there on the 29th, so a little while ago, week and a half. After that, bridgewinners.com, where the initial stuff sort of exploded, and lots of stuff came up after that. Some of the notable things is Ishmael Del Monte, a well-known Australian bridge player, posted something called The Maze of Fisher-Schwartz, where he lists a whole bunch of hands that he's looked at and puts like, here's the information, what would you choose to lead, this is what they actually did, and tries to post some hands that he thinks lots of odd things have happened. So this was all over a sort of a 5-6 day period. So Boyer initially declined offers to vacate his title along with his team, and then a few days later Bridge Cheaters came up with a lot of information on it. And the main sites that were doing stuff were bridgecheaters.com and bridgewinners.com, and there's a few other ones going around. Anyway, so more people were sort of putting up more and more information about this. After this, on the 31st of August, so a week after all this started, the Norwegian Bridge Federation requested a formal review. So on behalf of the Norwegian Bridge Federation, we kindly request the European Bridge Federation to review the status of Lotan Fisher and Ron Schwartz. This was all sort of sparked from Boyer again. So they started to try and get into the formalization of this sort of stuff after that, and they went from there. So there is some formal procedure going through as well. Shortly after this, on sort of the 2nd of September, Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher broke their silence. They hadn't been saying anything at all, and they'd been keeping really quiet. But after a week of this stuff, they finally started doing something, which is they set up a Facebook page, which you can check out, which is Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher Aren't Cheaters. And on this, they try and defend some of their more debated actions, such as the 6 diamonds hand that obviously got a lot of comments from the Bridge Cheaters website, where they try and give their reasoning about why they chose to do what they did. So if you want to hear back from them, you can check out Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher Aren't Cheaters on Facebook. And it kind of looks like this, where they post some questions, there's lots of comments and things like that. The one thing that kind of annoyed me a bit here is there's a few people sort of trolling it and putting comments and just harsh comments to Lotan and Ron here. Now, I don't really think that's the place to be doing it, but of course things like that happen. But it's a bit of a shame that they haven't been convicted yet, but people are still insulting them and doing sort of bad things. Well, things that I don't particularly like. You can have your belief that they cheated or not, but going and making life really, really tough for them is not probably the way. Anyway, you can check that out. Sort of about the same time, there's lots of information coming out about breaking the code. Now, as well as Ishmael Del Monte, as well as Per Ola Cullen, and also Kit Woolsey, put a lot of information up on the Bridge Winners website about how they think that Fisher and Schwartz have been cheating. Now, what they think they've come up with here, so they've looked over a lot of video evidence, cross-referenced it, tried to work out what Signal was trying to do. This took a lot of time, and basically what they believe has happened is that there has been some, so there's been a board that's been pushed around and placed in different spots to signal different things. So if you look at some of the videos, when you're playing bridge behind a screen, you put all your bids and the cards and other things are on. There's a tray with the cards holding in the middle, and people put their bids along that. So they're either using the tray or the actual board which hold the cards, and they're signaling some things, which is if the board is pushed towards the opening leader, they want a spade. If the board is placed to one side of the table, they want a heart. If they place the board in the middle, they want a diamond. Whereas if the board is kept on the side of the non-opening leader, they want a club. So basically where they're placing the board is what they believe is their code behind the opening leader, telling their partner what they want to be led. They also think that there might be other things that are happening that they found evidence on, which is they make audible signals such as coughing or drinking water to indicate that they've got weak hands. And they convey length in their partner's suit after they've shown weakness based on the speed at which they bid. So I think there's a lot of different things that they can do. And they also suspect that there's a way that they can ask their partner to sort of leave the table such that they can go and possibly view something from a different angle such that they might be able to see where the missing cards are, such as guessing the 6 diamond hand as a possibility. So I think there's a few different ways that they've been cheating, but the main things are placing the board and where they do that there. So you can find more on breaking the code on the Bridge Cheaters website and also the Bridge Winners website, something called Breaking the Code, which you can check out. So as I mentioned, Kit Woolsey also did something where he sort of got all the data and put it into a tray, into a table, and tried to get people to work out what they wanted, and tried to take a pretty scientific approach about what was going on rather than just all subjective. So he's trying to set up like these columns and sort of cross-reference things like that. Anyway, as was all pretty inevitable about all this, was legal issues have popped up. So Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher have now got lawyers involved, which was kind of to be expected. So they're now suing Boyer Brogland for defamation, and they've sent a warning letter, and basically they're saying that their clients are saying that the loss in the Spin Gold quarterfinal. So this was the Team Kane, which had Fisher and Schwartz on it, playing against Team Schwartz, which had Boyer on it, which was that really close match, was what sparked all this and made him start a smear campaign. And that's what it's mentioned in here. And basically it said the statement's being disseminated, serious, malicious, offensive, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, there's a legal document that's been set off, and they're trying to sue Boyer and basically get this to stop. But basically, you can read it in your own time, but some of the things that they're requesting Boyer to do is stop all harmful actions, so stop calling them cheats, basically. The Bridge Cheaters website, take that down. They also want them to publish a correction, a denial, and an apology, saying that none of that should happen. And they want to compensate Fisher and Schwartz for the value of $1 million. So all this came up. This all happened on about the 3rd, so it took about a week and a half for all this to happen. Now, this was sort of to be expected because, boy, like, if they weren't cheating, then even what Boyer's done has basically ruined them anyway. So they were going to get lawyers into it at some stage. And this is all because there isn't any official, like, there are some official channels that cheating accusations can be taken down, but there's not really enough proper channels, and it's not well established enough. And basically it took someone putting their hand up and putting their head on the chopping block, and if they're right, they might get out of it, but they sure are risking a lot by starting up all this stuff. But I think Boyer was just so annoyed at everything that he took it to drastic measures and got the ball rolling, and the floodgates have absolutely opened after all this. As this was all expected, someone has set up fundraisers for Boyer. So if you want to support Boyer and help him in case he's got any of the financial issues that go along with the lawsuits and things that are expected from this, there's actually a spot where you can go and find it, which is if you go to bridgewinners.com and search for fundraiser for Boyer, you can find something and donate. Yeah. So, as to be expected, there was legal issues, and now someone set up a fundraiser. Lots of things have been happening. Sort of what came shortly after is Israel have now withdrawn from the Bermuda Bowl. Now, the Bermuda Bowl is like the World Championship event, and it is coming up in just a few weeks, on the 26th of September. Now, the way Israel gets a spot in the Bermuda Bowl is they play the European Championship, and the top 6 European teams get a spot in the Bermuda Bowl. Now, Fisher and Schwartz weren't actually contending in the Bermuda Bowl. They were going to be, but then they withdrew because they've got other commitments. But the 2014 team that qualified Israel through the European Championship had Lotan and Ron on it. So a whole lot of debate about whether or not Israel deserves their spot if they had cheats on it came up. So anyway, the rest of the team, which of Israel, along with some of the management committee, decided to withdraw their spot in the Bermuda Bowl and open it up for the team that actually came 7th. So they've done the sort of... I'm really proud that Israel decided to do this and take a step back, and they didn't want any damaging comments like they don't deserve to be there. And they've done the good thing where they've stepped back and said, look, we don't know if our teammates were cheating or not, but in light of recent events and the resulting acrid atmosphere, with regard to the legitimacy of Israel's team participation in the Bermuda Bowl, the other two pairs have decided to withdraw. And I think that's pretty good, and I think that's really good of the other two pairs, and they should be looked on really favourably, because it wouldn't be an easy thing to step back and say we're not going to play in the World Championship just because there's been this big hoo-ha about another pair that's not even playing in it, but help them qualify possibly. They also wanted to mention that this is has no reflection on the guilt or innocence of Lotan Fisher and Fisher-Schwartz, who are also currently under the inspection of the Special Ethics Committee nominated by the Israel Bridge Federation. Now, just like I mentioned, the European Bridge Federation got the formal request from the Boya and the Norwegian Bridge Federation. Israel is also looking into this as well. But they're trying to say that just because they withdrew has no actual reflection on whether they think Lotan and Ron actually did cheat. Now, all of this sparked from online things. It got posted on basically an online bridge social networking site, and basically everyone realized this isn't the best way to deal with cheating allegations. Like, you don't want to just be able to put this person's a cheat up on a social networking site, because they're never going to be able to do anything about it, and it tarnishes their name. So this also sparked a whole bunch of discussion about ways in future of dealing with cheating allegations, and there's a lot of different things that have come up, but some of the ones that you want to look for is you want absolute confidentiality of the people being accused, because if someone gets accused of cheating, in this modern age, it's not they're innocent until proven guilty, but as soon as that allegation is out, they're just guilty by the media. So in future going on, people need a way of confidentiality for the people being accused, because you don't want their name tarnished if they're not actually found guilty of cheating. They also say they want limited confidentiality for the accusers. They also want a review section by a group of world-class players. It doesn't matter which sort of player gets accused of cheating, but you want absolute top-tier players to adjudicate whether they think someone was cheating, because if you don't get the top-tier players, then maybe you're just underestimating how good someone else is. And even if they are a weak player, maybe they think that top players still understand how weaker players can think. They also want something that's sort of speedy, doesn't drag out too long. You also want fairness to the accused, so that they have ways of they can refute evidence and things like that. And you also want a finality of a result. You don't want this thing to be dragging on forever and ever. Anyway, there's a few different systems that are being discussed, but this whole saga has sort of got it up into people's minds, and the debate's flowing. And I reckon in the future there'll be more and more that will be the system will be refined, and there will be a proper system that will be able to go on from there. Other things that happened is over this entire process, the amount of traffic that's been hitting the Bridge Winners website has managed to actually crash the website. And they've had pretty funny error messages. So they say, like, due to recent events, blah, 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 we're working on this, we're hoping to get back online in a few hours. And there's this little star here, and it says, Steve did Blackwood with a void again. Bobby hired some hackers. Now, what they're actually referencing here in this error message is Steve Weinstein, one of the Bridge Winners guys, is top player, plays with his partner Bobby Levin. Now, did Blackwood with a void again, which is typically taboo, and Bobby hired some hackers to break the site. Now, Bridge Winners managed to crash a few times over this period, and they had different error messages pop up. But it just shows how much traffic they were getting and how big this was. That I haven't seen the site go down like this before, but the amount of people that all wanted to know the information just kept popping up again and again. And finally, I was going to say is just very recently, Fisher-Schwartz started another Facebook page similar to the last one. The other one was Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher Aren't Cheaters. This one's Fisher-Schwartz Honest Bridge, or The True Story. So you can check out Fisher-Schwartz hyphen The True Story. So I've got a couple of different ones where they're trying to again defend their actions, talk about what's going on and things like that. Anyway, that's the update of the cheating scandal so far. It's been a pretty busy couple of weeks, but I hope this sort of cleared up what sort of stuff's been going on and where you can find out some information. So the main sites that I'd recommend are bridgecheaters.com, bridgewinners.com. You can find the Fisher-Schwartz things on Facebook. You've got Fisher-Schwartz, The True Story, and also Ron Schwartz and Lotan Fisher Aren't Cheaters. You can get their side of it there. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on bridgewinners.com and bridgecheaters.com, and you can find all the other information there. Hope you've enjoyed this, and see you next time.